Hello, can you all hear me? We had a few technical issues there. Can you all hear me? Am I doubling up on audio? I feel like I am. Yes, so as you can tell, the stream isn't fitting the full aspect ratio and I can't seem to change it. So we're just going to roll with it. If there's any sort of audio issues, anything like that, visual should be fine, besides it being a little bit cropped in. Might be out of sync a little, but you guys let me know because you can see it much clearer than I can. I think I am getting a bit of double audio. This is the first time I've done the live stream over on my YouTube, so it's trial and error. So you will have to bear with me on this one. It could just go horribly wrong, but we can always learn from these situations. Hopefully we get a few more viewers. I've had to repost the link because it was all scheduled and now it's just all messed up. Hi Bri, thanks for coming along. We've got a couple of viewers. We'll just wait for more people to come in. Sounds good. Okay, that's good. Is Paul not watching to point out all this stuff? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. You guys will have to let me know. Yeah, I'm sorry about the aspect ratio. OBS has just been a bit weird with its settings. You know, if anyone else uses OBS, I'm sure they'll understand. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. But I just thought we'll just go for it. I wanted to do this live, so even if it's not perfect, but you know, you can still hear me, the content's there. So yeah, so hopefully we get a few more people. I'll just give it a couple more minutes. So what I normally do is I post question out on my Instagram early in the week when I do these lives, and that's when people send me back, you know, topics, questions about specific directors' films. So I had a few replies, so we'll go with that, and then if anyone has any questions in the comments, then we can answer those as well. But we'll just see how it goes. It's just very sort of free-flowing. That's what I normally do on my Instagram, so we shall see and try and do the same over on my YouTube. You can see and hear you fine. That is good. Maybe it's just because I'm hearing myself back, I'm a little bit confused, but as long as the audio quality is all good, that's what matters. Right, just make sure that everyone's aware that I'm doing the stream, because like I said, normally on Instagram, so I thought we would bring it over to YouTube because I'm trying to sort of really push my YouTube channel, putting out weekly content. Yeah, so I thought let's try and push more people over here. Even though a lot of people do film on Instagram, I'm trying to get more people over here. Right, hopefully that reminds people that we are live. Oh, I'm apparently not very good at taking a photo, which is quite ironic. There we go. How is everyone's Sunday anyway? Has everyone had a good Valentine's Day? Have you been able to do much? You know, I mean, I personally don't really celebrate Valentine's Day. It's just another day. It's just a big corporation thing. Right. Hope that brings more people over. Hey, see this if you got a question. You can hit me with a question now. I do have 4 questions, but go for it. Hit me with it. Also, do we like my my Captain Marvel drinks cup? I think what I'm going to do is move this over here so I'm not really looking at myself as much, but I can see the chat. Okay. But yeah, do you guys have any sort of plans for films to watch today, whether it be rom-coms or just general sort of films? Is there any sort of new films you want to watch at the minute? I watched Malcolm and Marie earlier in the week, which is probably the newest film I've watched, and I thought it was pretty good actually. I know it's been very sort of Marmite. It's you either love it or you hate it, but I was very much in the middle ground. It's not going to spoil it, but it's just sort of like it's just these two actors and they're just having arguments and they make up, argument, make up. So it's a little bit repetitive, but the performances are amazing. So if you haven't watched it yet, definitely check Malcolm Marie out, and that is on Netflix, so you can go and watch that one. Sorry. So I've had a look at your letterbox and noticed you've had a lot of 3-star ratings. Have you ever given a film 5 stars, or do you have an opinion on the 5-star rating? That's a good question, actually. I'm very. I like to think that I'm a very harsh critic. It takes a lot for me to give a film a good rating. A good rating to me is 3.5 and above. So 3 is kind of just like, yeah, I watched it, or it might just be, nostalgia, whatever. But I do give films higher ratings than a 3. There's a few I've given 4 or 5. I think there are a few that I've given 5. They're probably the ones that are in my top 10, such as Birdman, Train Spotting. But I am aware that I do give 3 stars, for the majority of my reviews. I think on my letterbox the peak is just like that over 3. So that's probably where you've seen it. Oh gosh, that graphs. I will double check for you now. See this if. I think I'm correct with what I've said. Let's have a quick look. I do find Letterboxd is really hard to navigate, especially on the mobile. I think the laptop computer version is much better. Don't know how to navigate. Rated. There we go. So what have I given? No reviews. I've given no films 5-star reviews. Well, I've just lied. I thought I'd given some 5-star reviews, but maybe I haven't. Or I am using Letterboxd wrong. I can give you my 4-star reviews. So we've got, as of recent, I've got Game Night, Snowpiercer, Walk the Line, Soul, The Gentleman, Speed, His House, Knives Out. Oh, I think, right, I see what this is doing. This is the films that I've written the actual review, like text for. These aren't, whereas for some films I just go through and just give them like 4 or 5 stars and don't leave a comment. So there's definitely more than that. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it's like Train Spotting, Birdman. Just having a look on my DVDs to see if there's any more. Yeah, those are the main ones. So thank you for the question. That was a really good question. Christian Condemi, stay safe, wear your mask. Still corona out there. Get your vaccine sorted. Cheers from Italy. Well, thank you. I am aware that there is corona still about. But yeah, thanks for popping by. Michael Brennan. Hey, Michael. When you review a film, TV show, what factors are you taking into consideration? Well, I found with like my YouTube, I've gone with a bit of a sort of formulaic approach now. I break it down. Obviously, I go with the cast, director, if it was based on anything, like adapted from anything, and then I normally go for the approach of the plot, the themes, how it made me feel, and then I look at other reviews, articles or the YouTube videos, and I'm trying to get a broader understanding of it all. And and I just go from there really. So yeah, I try and tackle it the broader approach. But you might have seen in some of my reviews, I'm thinking of the Soul review, for example, I can really tell when I'm much more passionate about the subject, and that's when I do longer things and I go off script because I have like a few bullet points when I'm making a video. So I think you can really tell that. Like I just go off on a tangent sometimes, but I normally use the sort of the headers of theme, plot, and just the script really. Just it's very broad, but I'm not sure whether to sort of fine tune that and make it more specific. But if you have any suggestions, do let me know, because I'm always happy to mix up the style of video. As you can see on my channel, there's some new sort of content coming out on my channel that's different to a sit down review. But yeah, thank you for that question, Michael. The Postman, Il Postino, great movie. I'm not sure of that one. I'm guessing that's an Italian film. The Postman. No, I don't know that one. I'll add that to my list. Ludovici Street. Hello. Snowpiercer is fantastic. Yes, it is fantastic. I only watched it for the first time. Was it the end of last year, I think it was? Or early this year? But no, I heard great things about it. And obviously I've seen Parasite, Okja, and I just thought everyone says really good things about Snowpiercer, so I thought I'd give it a go, and I really, really, really liked it. I loved the whole sort of dystopian world and the set design, the clothes, all of that, but I was a little bit disappointed with the ending, and I was like, oh, it was building and building, and it's like, oh, okay, right. So it was a little bit disappointing, and I know they've made a TV series out of it, which I'm really intrigued by. Like, when is it set? Because obviously at the end of the film, I'm not going to spoil it, but how does that make sense? So I'm a bit confused on that one. But no, I did really, really enjoy Snowpiercer. The cinema. Hello, it's me, Brian. Just want to say a quick hey, and I finally made it to your live. Yes, you made it. Is it because it's at 4 o'clock on a Sunday, or is your schedule just free today? Because I don't think I've seen you in any of my Instagram lives, but thank you for stopping by on my YouTube. We've had a bit of an issue today, Ryan, with the whole stream. I had to change the link. It's not even 1080. I've just gone with it. This is all like training wheels. It's bound to go wrong because this is the first stream. But next time I'll make sure it's nice and fits the screen. But as long as you can hear me, you can see me, that's all you need, right? Ludovici Street. I find it easy to talk about films I love, but what films do you hate? Well, what films do I hate? Hate is a strong word. There's lots of films that I'm just sort of in the middle ground with. That comes back to the question about my sort of average 3-star reviews. But in terms of films that I hate, there was a film, what was it? It was a guy from he did Wayne's World, and he was on like SNL, and he had this thing where I just remember when I was younger, and there's one scene, is it Master of Disguise? 2 seconds, guys. I think that's the lowest rating I've given for a film. Yeah, The Master of Disguise. Okay, well, IMDb, I gave it 2 out of 10. If any of you have seen it, let me know, because I just have these flashbacks of seeing it when I was younger. And the same with the Super Mario Brothers film. That really freaked me out. Yeah, I've not seen it in a long, long time, but I'm sure they're both not great movies. But my memory of it is that they were not good films. Other films that I hate. I don't hate it, but in terms of genre, I'm not a massive fan of country, like the Wild West sort of cowboy spaghetti films, or war films particularly. It's those odd ones that really sort of stand out. There are some really, really good westerns and war films, and I think I have seen the some of the better ones. But as a whole, those two genres are not my cup of tea at all. And the same with a lot of comedy films. I much prefer comedy TV shows. I just think the space is a lot better for comedy, but in films it doesn't work for me personally. So I don't really hate films. It's just very in the middle. I'm not really someone that hates films as such. Hey Starred Cinema, thank you for checking out the live stream that's become a bit of a disaster today, but we're just rolling with it. What's your favourite movie of all time? Well, this is the question that every sort of cinephile hates, to be honest. I can't whittle it down to one. I've already listed a few, and they include Trainspotting, Birdman, Prisoners, Perks Been a Wallflower, Her, Whiplash is up there. I think that's quite a good range. But then again, I could say like some of my favourite films, the ones that I go back to again and again, like the Harry Potter trilogy, Harry Potter franchise, Fight Club, of course. Sorry, how could I forget that? But I'd say those are like my consistent group of favourite films, and then some pop in and out, that I'm sort of so obsessed with the style and the actors or the directors, but those films that I've listed are the ones that have always sort of stayed sort of top rank for me. So thank you very much for your question. I love the Super Mario Bros. Movie growing up. Well, I'm glad one of us did. It just traumatised me. Absolutely traumatised me. I think it was Bowser and like the big bodies with the dinosaur head. I don't know what they were trying to be. Don't know if they were trying to be Yoshi or... I don't know. It was weird. So I did have a few questions that came through to me earlier in the week when I said that I was doing the live, and a couple of people have responded. So I thought it'd be good to answer those questions now. If any of you are in the chat, make sure you're known, because hopefully you are here so you can hear me answer your questions. Okay, so Views by Quinn asked, thoughts on award shows and do they matter? I sort of touched upon this on my last YouTube video about the Oscar ceremony, and well, there's other ones, Golden Globes, and there's some smaller ones as well, but Oscars is the one I think everyone really thinks about. And even though I don't agree with the way they are marked and the way that the actors and directors have to go around to all these like dinners and cozy on up to the judges and all, I think it's so backwards. But every year I'm always fascinated by the Oscars in particular, and who's going to win. I always think it's they've become a little bit political right now. In the last 10 years, you can see the change in the Best Picture winners and what is being nominated to begin with, which is great because it is becoming more diverse. But I do love the whole sort of ceremony around it. But of course, some films that could have been your best film of 2020 might not even be nominated, and that's fine because film is so objective. What one person loves, one person could hate, and that's the whole point of it. But obviously people do have common opinions on certain films, and I think this is a great time to appreciate film. Your favourite film of the year may not win, but hopefully cinema is still getting recognised at these ceremonies. So regardless of the whole very sort of backwards kiss arse approach, you could say, I do enjoy the whole dressing up and just seeing all these celebrities together in one room. I do hope they carry on, but I think maybe in the future they might adapt, or I hope they sort of broaden the nomination pool and have maybe some kind of audience vote to sort of submit some films, and then they go from there rather than just like these judges choosing. yeah, so that's my sort of answer to that question. Thank you, Views by Quinn. If you guys have any opinions on the Oscars, do let me know in the chat. I am looking at the chat as well. Okay, so Tim Wickens TV says, dream film set you'd wished you'd worked on. Wow. So I guess you could go with the approach of this film, maybe what's the best cast in a film, and what's the best, your favourite director, I guess, because obviously some directors are infamously known for being a pain to work with, but then, what would have been a good set to work with? Depends what role as well. I think that would have had a really big influence. Trying to think some of my favourite cast films. I think the Harry Potter films would have been magical to work on. Like I do love the Harry Potter films, and I've been to the studios as well. So I think just to see behind the sort of the movie magic, and to see a lot of the actors, before they got quite big, that would have been quite a cool experience. I'm just looking at my DVD for some inspiration. Or films that looked fun, maybe. What else would I say? Have you guys got any suggestions? What else would have been cool? I think it would be really interesting to have been on the Grand Budapest Hotel set. I think this was the peak of like sort of Wes Anderson's films, and he gets, obviously the Oscar recognitions like when this came out, and by that point, obviously he works with the same actors for a lot of his films, but he sort of pulled in a lot more like new faces like Ray Fiennes, Saoirse Ronan. I think that'd been cool. I'm not sure where it was filmed exactly, but I think in terms of talent, that could have been a really, really good film set to work on. Sorry. No, it's not going to say. But yeah, so I'd probably say those. Harry Potter, not sure which one, maybe some of the earlier ones, and then the Grand Budapest Hotel. So thanks for that question, Tim. Hopefully you're listening somewhere. Just let the chat come in. Christian Condemn, you rock. Great accent. Thank you very much. It's called a Midlands accent. It's not very pretty, but if you think so, we'll go with it. What about TV series? When you say TV series, what are you asking? Do you mean which one did I want to be involved in? Alex Rivers, yes, I would have loved to have been on the set of Grand Budapest Hotel. There we go. I know you love that film, Alex, so great choice. Wonder Mel, hello hello MJ, how are you? We've had an issue with the whole stream. As you can tell, it's not full 1080. I've had a whole issue with OBS, but we've just rolled with it because I just wanted to chat film. Otherwise, we would just be here for days, and I'll sort it after this. Call me Ben. Okay, I'll call you Ben. I noticed in discussion recently you didn't talk much about older films such as Casablanca and that sort of era. Is there a reason for that? What's your views on classic cinema? That's a good question. Yeah, so I guess that came up when we were talking about films that shouldn't have won Best Picture. We didn't really touch on those sort of earlier sort of decades of film. I will be honest and say that I've only seen a selection of classic Hollywood films. I've seen a few Hitchcock. I've seen Casablanca. Which I love myself. What else have I seen? There's Streetcar Named Desire. There's the odd black and white film that I've seen. And I feel like there is a lot of pressure to always say that classic Hollywood was the best, and everything. A lot of filmmakers do emulate those films and they pay ode to them or they take things from them. So obviously there will be classics because it's a lot more original content. But I think my main interest in film is in cinema within the last 30, 40 years now, because in terms of content, it's just so much more diverse in its storytelling, and the worlds that people are able to build are brilliant. Don't get me wrong, there's some really good like sort of cinematography techniques that were used in sort of the golden age of Hollywood, which were amazing. Especially I've seen how a lot of Charlie Chaplin things were done, and Buster Keaton, like the cinema tricks were amazing. And I hate how films are relying upon green screen CGI rather than trying to do those practical visual effects or stunts. So there's definitely pros and cons of like the golden age of cinema and like modern cinema. But maybe I just need to see more. That's probably why we didn't touch upon it really. But I definitely need to watch more black and white films. Nothing wrong with them. You just have to be in the right mindset, I think. But yeah, I definitely want to watch more. So if you've got any suggestions that you think, have you not seen those, Sarah? Let me know in the chat or DM me after this, and I would love to hear your suggestions. The stream looks good, great. Thank you. Do you like my little layout, my little face? Oh, I've even worn stripes as well, the same as the little image. It's not blue though, it's green. Alex Rivers says, one of my favourite classics is Some Like It Hot. I have seen Some Like It Hot with Marilyn Monroe. Is Marilyn Monroe in that? I'm not sure. Yeah, I do like Some Like It Hot. I used to watch a lot of Laurel and Hardy. I think I've seen like some original Christmas carols. I can't remember the actor who was in it. But yeah, I've seen the odd black and white film, but I've not worked my way through like a director or sort of actor filmography, but I do need to watch more. My layout is adorbs, thanks. I made that. I made that in Photoshop. I'm just annoyed it's not full size so you can really appreciate it. Ben said about 5 years ago for my masters. What? You'll have to explain there, Ben. Okay, we're just going to pop on to another question that we got earlier in the week, and it's from Nerd-Centric Movies, and they asked, what is your fave nostalgic TV show? Well, this is a very aptly timed question, and I'm sure Mel will be looking in the chat for this one. But one of my favourite nostalgic TV shows of recent, in terms of the era, is definitely Buffy. I remember sort of seeing flashes of it on the TV, and it wasn't until last year that I fully watched it. So in terms of 90s noughties, it just takes me back in terms of the fashion, the technology, the language. Another TV show that for me is very personal and brings back really sort of fond memories of being a child and stuff is Doctor Who. I sort of thrived when they brought back Doctor Who in 2005. I was definitely the target audience, so Doctor Who for me will always remind me of my childhood. Well, from like Eccleston to David Tennant, those were when I was really, really into the series. So for me, that's always gonna have a special place in my heart, even though I've fallen out in love with it recently. Those sort of early years of new Doctor Who are just, yeah, they'll always have a special place. Other TV shows that are nostalgic in terms of my childhood. Not really sure. A show that I've been thinking about a lot recently that I really want to rewatch, and I probably watched it when I was a bit too young, was Skins. Skins is a British show. It's quite dark, it's funny, it's got every range of emotion, and the first four series for me are some brilliant bits of British TV. The performances, the actors, a lot of the first, well, all four series have sort of really set up a lot of coming of age actors that have gone on to do really, really successful things. But the stories, the themes within that show are very honest and very real. And yeah, I really want to watch it again. I was seeing a lot of posts about it, so I do want to go back to Skins. So yeah, that's the only ones I can think of that are just jumping straight into my mind. Otherwise, I'd be going down the route of CBBC shows and CITV. But in terms of series, sitcoms, that sort of thing, I also used to watch obviously a lot of Simpsons, Malcolm in the Middle. I think we even watched a bit of Roseanne. Yeah, so all those sorts, and Futurama as well. So I was a big fan of those sort of comedies, very American sort of sitcoms, but they were different to your traditional sitcoms from what I remember. Yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Right, where were we? I'm losing. I respect that. I don't feel pressured in watching anything. I hadn't seen Citizen Kane until... Where did you say? Until about 5 years ago. Right, got it. Yeah. No, I only watched Citizen Kane at university as well. I think our lecturer kind of was like, you have to watch this. Ludovici, I loved Buffy back in the day. Well, I'm sure you'll like today's video at 6 o'clock. Not saying it's about Buffy or anything, but you might like it. Buffy the movie or Buffy the TV show. I'll be honest and say I've not seen Buffy the movie. I don't know if that's sacrilege to say, but I've never seen it. I've never sought it out. I'm happy to give it a go. I'd like to see how much they sort of diverge from the source material. I'd be very intrigued. But no, I'll check it out. So at the minute, I would say, yeah, the TV show. Do I like superhero films? Have you seen the trailer for the Snyder Cut? I do like superhero films, yes, in terms of MCU and some other superhero films that, play with the idea of heroes. But I'm not a fan of DC films, I'll be honest. I've given a few of them a go, such as Wonder Woman, the first one, Suicide Squad, Batman vs Superman and Justice League, and from those alone I've made my mind up. I just not a fan of the style that DC have gone for, and it's all very super CGI, over the top choreography in the fight scenes. So I just don't like their style, their approach to superhero films. And then obviously you've got superhero films such as the whole Batman Nolan trilogy, which really just, it changed the way that we saw superhero films, and it's that very post 9/11 cinema. Did a whole essay on it at university, so I love that trilogy. Yeah, I can't think of any of the obscure superhero films, but yeah, generally I'm a big, well, not massive, not as big as you, Mel, but I'm a big Marvel fan, definitely. I always go and see them at the cinema. We have a group chat and we talk about them. We always go and see them together. But no, I'm not bothered about the Snyder Cut. Really not bothered. The damage is done. I'm not going to be watching it personally, but I am intrigued about Robert Pattinson's Batman. I'm a big fan of his work. I think he's a great actor. and I'm really interested to see this sort of darker approach to Batman. It feels a bit more Batman Begins kind of style, so I'm excited for that one. Yeah. Skins was shot in Bristol, which is where I live. Yeah, we went to Bristol on a university trip, and we all just went around like trying to find the sort of filming locations. Yeah, no, you can definitely see why they shot it in Bristol. Sort of the whole sort of yeah, just the atmosphere. I was like, okay, this makes sense. The Crow. Oh yeah, Brian. Yeah, the first season of Skins was really good. Yes, it was. It was. Ludovici asked, "The Crow is my favourite superhero." I've never seen The Crow. Never seen it, but I know a lot of people do love it. Ben asked, are there any black spots you have? A black spot is a term I use to mean films that you think should see but haven't yet. Oh, there's loads. Apocalypse Now, Godfather Part 2, Mulholland Drive. Well, out of that list, I've only seen Apocalypse Now. There's so many films that people say, have you not seen? Like, I was looking at my IMDb and I've like rated 1,000 films or something. But I've not seen Scarface, I've not seen Gladiator, I've not seen Godfather Part 2 and 3. There's so many films that I've not seen. I've seen enough to have like a general understanding of film and different genres, but there's like, I've not watched many like classic horror films. Obviously not watched many westerns. Obviously apparently not much of the golden age of Hollywood. So there's loads of classics or black spots, like you say, that I've not seen. And I'm sure you'd be ashamed if I said any more. The Boy with the Hallam Tattoo. Biscuits and Blu-rays. Oh, hey, how you doing? You should check out James Gunn's Super. It's pretty good. Is that James Gunn that did Guardians and James Gunn's Super? 2010. I remember Super 8. Oh my word. This looks interesting. Is that the guy from The Office? It is. Okay. Alright, I'll have a look at that. Thank you for that suggestion. Yeah, I'm not judging it yet, but it looks bizarre. Mel says she can't wait for the Batman film down the road. Oh yeah, it was, wasn't it? And they also filmed it in Liverpool as well. I remember they were filming it about a year ago, weren't they? And they were still somehow being allowed to film Batman whilst there was a pandemic. And I was like, oh, okay. You know, like the first lockdown, I was like, okay, you get permission, sure. Ludovici's not seen Mulholland Drive. Well, thank you. I'm not by myself. I don't think I've seen that much David Lynch films either. I know a lot of people are massive fans of his work, but looking at his sort of filmography, and obviously did Twin Peaks, which I've not seen any of his films. Now looking at them, which again is probably a sacrilege to many people. Yeah, I've not seen any of those, so I'm sorry, everyone. You love The Crow as well. Well, I'm missing out. Well, the good thing about this live is I've definitely got some films that I need to watch, you know, some classics or people love. So I'll make sure to watch those for you. And I'll report back. So I have one more question that came in earlier in the week, and it's from Biscuit and Blu-rays, who I just saw was in the chat. Where is he gone? I saw here. There he is. There we go. Boy with the Hallam Tattoo. We'll just call you Biscuit and Blu-rays, if that's what you'll be called, or if you have a real name, let me know. So you asked, what do you like the most about film? What's their appeal? God, such a loaded question. What do you like most about film? I think what I like most about film is the fact that people can draw different things from them. You know, they are art at the end of the day, and they affect people in different ways, be it the performance, the themes, the music, the nostalgia of it all. It's all very personal to people. So again, like what one person loves, one person would hate, that's totally fine. You know, everyone's entitled to their own opinions about films and TV. But what I love is I like films that either really reflect life in terms of experiences, themes, and I think that comes from a script, camera work. You know, I can't think of an example, but something that's very personable and feels very indie, low budget. I like those sorts of films. But then again, I like films that just are pure escapism, and they just take you away from, you know, the day-to-day life, fantasy, sci-fi, musicals, anything like that. I think film is so versatile. It can be a mirror of your own life or people you know within your own life, or it can be an escape, and I love that. And it brings people together in their opinions and some directors they love or actors that they love. So I love that, and everyone watches films, you know, it's part of most people's lives. It's just how far you take that passion and like geekiness, like clearly I do. But everyone has seen, you know, good films, and you can strike up a conversation about films with anyone. It's just a good talking point. So yeah, that's why I love cinema. It's just so engaging. It's different every time. There's so many stories to tell. Like, we're all naturally born like storytellers, and you can bring that back to like sort of folklore and things like that. But everyone just wants to hear stories, and that's what cinema is, no matter what scale it is. A short film, feature film. People just want to hear stories and see reflections of humanity. I don't know if that got too deep there at the end. Yeah, hopefully that answers your questions, Biscuit and Blu-rays. Why do you love cinema? Let me know. I'd be really intrigued if I just gone a bit too deep there. Yes, that was the 4 questions that I had submitted to me earlier in the week. Let me know if you have any further questions in the chat. We have been going for 45 minutes. I am really surprised considering we had a little hiccup at the beginning. But yeah, if you're still about, let me know if there's any further questions in the chat. And then obviously I've got a video coming out at 6 o'clock tonight, and I've already given a bit of a clue, but it will be about Buffy versus Angel. And yeah, I'm just sort of talking about a few of the differences, the similarities, what's better, what's worst, and then maybe a special guest appearance. Just saying. But yeah, I hope you guys have liked it on YouTube. Is it better? It's easy to chat. It's easier for me to see the chat, definitely. I quite like this platform. Obviously I can smoothen out the bumps with OBS and make it full screen, but as a first one, this isn't bad. And does it sound okay? Am I in sync? Who knows? Until I watch this back, I won't know. And was there any other films coming out this week that people are interested in on Netflix, or have Amazon got any new releases set to come out? Just having a look on Netflix, but if you've got any suggestions, let me know in the comments. So coming this week, we have Behind Her Eyes, which is a limited TV series. Looks quite dark. Could be quite good. We have Animals on the Loose, a You versus Wild movie. Okay, interesting. So it's Bear Grylls. Not my cup of tea personally. Tribes of Europa, sorry. Amend. I can see Will Smith in that thumbnail. The Crew. The Meg is coming to Netflix. Artificial Intelligence, never seen that. Bird on a Wire. So it's a mix of new shows, some old films, Little Rascals, Meat Eater. There's some very bizarre stuff that comes onto Netflix. What else have we coming next week? What Men Want. Well, that came out fairly recently, didn't it? To All the Boys Part 3. I didn't even know that was out. I've seen the first two, embarrassingly. They're okay. The first one was good. Second one just sort of undid everything in the first one. News of the World. I know a lot of people have started to review that film starring Tom Hanks. But I don't know anything about it. I don't know what people are saying, whether it's good, bad. And there is a new crime TV series, if that's what you're into. Crime Scene: The Vanishing at the Cecil Hotel. I do quite like a crime show, so that could be quite interesting. Do you guys have any other suggestions? How do you think cinema will change post-COVID, and how do you feel about it? I managed to go to the cinema during the sort of the easing of restrictions last year. I went to see Tenet in the cinema, and they said you had to wear masks and you had to sort of spread out. So it's me and my mum that went. But then obviously when you're eating and drinking, you can pull it down, that's fine. But the experience wasn't really that different to everything that I know before. But going forward, I think cinemas will have to adapt. I think the whole drive-through thing was great, and that was great in the summer. It's a lot harder to do that in the winter and those colder months. I don't know what they're going to do. I do miss the cinema, and going back and watching Tenet in the cinema and hearing the sound. It was obviously very bloody loud because it's Christopher Nolan, but it shocked my ears because you don't really have that surround sound at home. Well, maybe you do, but I don't, and that was a real shock to see, and feeling the bass in your chest and the trailers before. The whole experience is something I miss, and I hope that cinemas sort of are able to adapt to it, maybe go back to the sort of space thing. And I know a lot of companies in America, like I know a lot of them are trying to get them to HBO Max and things like that, service we don't have over here, which is a shame. Like, I think films such as Dune, The French Dispatch, they should all be seen in the cinema, and it would be a real shame if they're not. But at the same time, we do wanted to see. Well, my main example would be Black Widow. We've waited too long for that film. It's going to affect the sort of the phases within the MCU and what comes out of WandaVision or Winter Soldier. I'm not too sure, but they will. I think they need to release that onto Disney Plus, whether it's behind a paywall like Mulan. So that's my exception where I say just put it on demand. But otherwise, I would happily wait to see films such as Dune, which was supposed to be a blockbuster, and it was supposed to be like the film of the year, and people, like, so many people were going to see it, and it was such a shame. But obviously health and safety and everyone's welfare comes first. But I hope that cinemas do recover, and a lot of people that work in cinemas, and they are literally sitting at home twiddling their thumbs, and it's a real shame. Because it's a great job, especially for young people, students, or people who are just interested in film. And a lot of people that worked in cinemas. So hopefully they do come back. But no, thank you, that's a really good question. So yeah, if no one has any more questions, I'm going to wrap up this stream here. Because it's pushing on to 5, and I've been chatting for nearly an hour. And I need to get dinner ready and everything. But thank you very much for joining me, everyone. It's been a bumpy road today, but thank you for joining me. Like I said, there will be a new video at 6 o'clock, so in an hour's time. And if you're a Buffy fan, or an Angel fan. I'm sure you will love that video. It's not a film. So yes, thank you for joining me, and so I'm planning to do these monthly. It'll be much smoother next time, I promise. But yeah, thank you for engaging in the chat. Otherwise, I think I would have just been speaking to myself, and people would have thought, "Are you okay, Sarah?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm okay." On Valentine's Day, talking to my computer. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in, and I'll see you for the next live stream. I'll see you later, guys. Bye.